Welcome to the party. This is your boy Mountain Tent. We got Ultimatum that just came out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over Ultimatum and see exactly what we got. Let's go ahead and look at the trailer.
You only live once, Exile. Make your choice.
So that looks like a new power. That looks like a new power. That does not. That looks like it's freezing pulse.
Ultimatum. Leave with your life and a meager reward, or risk it all for a chance at ungodly riches. For each trial you accept, the challenge grows. But fail and leave with nothing.
Alright. So right there is where I think it's gonna be a problem. Cause I'm gonna risk everything because I'm gonna gamble because I just want the better and cooler gear. I'm gonna keep going forward. I'm gonna lose all my stuff and it's gonna piss me off.
Reap the reward you deserve.
Now, this is interesting. So they reworked all of these different things. Abyss jewels, essences, betrayal rewards, blight, breach, brandis, incursion, delve, atlas type base fights, and incubators. They just redid everything. So pretty much you're starting from scratch.
Ultimate reward requires.
You don't know exactly where your money's gonna be coming from. Alright? So that's gonna be an interesting situation. Cause you're gonna lose, not literally lose everything, but you kind of got a a brand new, all the mechanics have changed. So not the powers, all the other mechanics. So how you got Parandis, how essence drops, how incursions might have got you X, Y, or Z. Now it's all changing. Everything's changing. So it's a brand new deck. It's like a brand new start, which is going to be interesting. And I don't know exactly how.
When some people think of the Val civilization.
So this is a 20-minute thing, yeah. So this is I'll have to watch that on my own, see exactly what that is. But yeah, so currently, I think that's gonna be where it's gonna be. So it's this risk it all thing. So if you constantly go forward, so I got 2 rewards that I've earned. So let's say I've already done some stuff. I got a helmet, I got some other things. Well, they got a chaos over here. I can add another negative and try it again, and keep trying. Well, see, I'm gonna keep trying, and that's when you sit there, you're gonna have problems. Now, there's also another thing that's interesting. So it says protect the altar. So I have questions, and this is my questions on this protect the altar thing. Does the altar have hit points? Are you sit there and are you supposed to protect the altar from the mobs attacking the altar? Or is it just, hey, we got this big circle and all the creatures are going to pop up and you just need to kill everything before or is it actually like, hey, this altar has hit points, and because the reason why I bring this up is because of the following. If all the mobs pop up inside that circle and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because they try to beat the snot out of me, and I'm over here and the mob's over here, if they're beating the altar and the altar dies, that's a loss, right? Or is it just, hey, they're saying you protect the altar and all it is the monsters kill you and you've lost them and you didn't protect the altar. So because that makes a major difference in how you play Ultimatum. And the reason why I say that is, let's say Okay, so if like right now it looks like you're there's coming to fight you, right? Stone Circle conquered. Oh, so Stone Circle's conquered. So that looks like there's something about you killing some stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is the altar right there, right? So monster slain. So each one, is it a different type of thing for the circle? Like, oh, you got to kill all the monsters. Oh, you got to protect the altar from being destroyed. Oh, you got to do these things. If that is the case, that could be differences on what you bring into it. So that is a question that I think is I'm gonna need to have answered before I determine what I'm gonna want to play. Because um if you got, let's say, a cyclone or a guy who has very low DPS but can survive everything, ultimatum would be good if you don't have to protect an altar, because it's just bam, 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 just smacking stuff. Nothing can kill you because you've got all this defense and defense capabilities, and you can just do all, risk it all, risk it all, risk it all, risk it all, and get tons of rewards because you're going all the way to the end, as far as you can, and nothing really can kill you. It might take you a lot longer to kill stuff, but you might get some good rewards out of that. If you have to protect the altar or do specific things, then that type of a build won't work. You might want to get a little DPS build, or you might want to do, because you want to kill them before they destroy the altar and stuff like that. That's the questions that I need to have answered. Second thing that this is double or nothing thing. This double or nothing thing, I think is going to be really awesome, but at the same time, I think it's going to suck. The reason why is, look at this. So double or nothing. I get to sacrifice a Vol orb. Okay, yeah. It's possible. You're gonna be the last defense. Yeah. So there's double or nothing. So I sacrifice a exalted orb, and I get double the currency. So I risk an exalted. I do it, and then bam, guess what? I get another exalted. And same for, I'm gonna sacrifice 4 nurse cards, and if I win, I get what, 8 nurse cards. I think this is gonna be great, but the sacrifices. How do you get the sacrifices? That's my thing. So can you roll these? If not, this is gonna be a problem. Do you roll them? Do they come automatically a certain way? That's where I have questions like this. The Whispering Ice, and you get the Void Battery. That's awesome. I get lots of Whispering Ices, and I can get a Void Battery out of it. Oh yeah, that's awesome. But how do I get it to? How do I get this specific one? That's another thing that pops up into my mind. Reap the rewards. I don't like I don't like this at all. I mean, it seems like it'd be awesome, but 0. This might actually be okay in certain aspects. It depends. This is why I say this. If I have a really high resistances to fire and cold and lightning, I got really high resistances, I can throw this on. My chaos resistance is 0. So this is where my question is. If I have a negative 60 chaos resistance, I throw this on. Does it take my negative 60 and makes it 0? I could live with that, because most of the time I'm fighting with a negative resistance, or I'm fighting at a 10 resistance, to chaos. I usually never have chaos maxed out. But if I can go from a negative 60 resistance for chaos and it just sets it to 0, man, I just I just saved a bunch of slots, a bunch of looking for gear specifically and tailoring gear so I can get chaos and lightning, fire and lightning on a piece of gear and all this other stuff just to try to get my chaos resistance up. Throw that on, boop, I'm just automatically got 0, and that's actually, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it would be awesome if that is the case. I don't know about that yet, but that actually is pretty nice. 32% increased maximum life and reduced fire resistance. So so in other words, when you go into the end game and you start doing end game, instead of -60, the -60, you'll be at -92. So if you can get your really good resistance gears, that could be awesome. This one, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but Mortal Ambition, Vol Pact. I know Vol Pact is the one for Life Leech. Mortal Ambition, Everlasting Sacrifice, Eternal Youth, the Divine Flesh, and Corrupted Soul. I think that's going to be a lot of nodes, a lot of the big nodes that you could get from just throwing that on there. Now I don't know if there's a lot of negatives to this thing or not. So I have to actually look up and pull up POB and check POB to verify what all these things are. But that looks like this is going to be a pretty nice shield. You got a 26% chance to block. It's not really, the stats aren't really that great, but what I mean stats is the block and all that other stuff might not be that great. But if all those things aren't really negatives, I think that's going to be a pretty nice item. Now, discover the Vol Reliquary. So you get keys. They drop from anywhere in Path of Exile and opens a portal to the Vol Reliquary. Well, this is going to be interesting because some of these things look like there's going to be some interesting stuff with it. Okay, so you usually get Atziri's Reflection, things like that. You get Doriana's Doriana boots. This is going to be one of those that I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to keep my eye on. Because if you can get really good, powerful gear pieces or really nice stuff through this might actually come out to be pretty nice. Still working on it. Still thinking about it. Now, this is going to be interesting. These blood powers change how certain things work. Now, they've got Corruption Fever, Reap, Petrified Blood, some support gems for it, and Vol skills got modified. So, let's go ahead and break that down. So this one is Sanguinate. Uses life instead of mana to shoot tendrils of blood in front of you, applying a strong physical damage hit and a physical damage over time debuff, which can stack up to 3 times. You can also support it so that the tendrils chain from one target to the next. Okay, so what I'm thinking on that one is this might be actually pretty interesting for any individual that has stuff that's going to be a regen build. I think any regen build, I think, is going to be using some of these blood things, like a berserker, maybe some stuff like that. Corrupting Fever. Corrupting Fever consumes some of your life and grants a buff that causes your hits to apply corrupted blood, which stacks with each hit, causing more and more physical damage over time. When a certain amount of life is consumed to use skills, the buff refreshes. So that's going to be interesting. Reap conjures a bloody side that swings across the area, applying strong hit damage and physical damage over time, which each swing it gains a charge that scales its damage up and increases it life cost up to 5 times. Is particularly potent against single target enemies. So that's going to be interesting. Petrified Blood. Petrified Blood is a new skill option for low life builds. Only flasks can recover life above 50%. Other life resources only affect the lower half of life. A portion of incoming hit damage that affects your lower half of life is spread out over time instead of being instant. So this, I think, is going to be pretty nice because you do a low life build, you got a good amount of regen, and a portion of the incoming hit damage that affects your life is DOT. So if you have huge regen, it's a DOT. So damage comes in, and it'll be over time, and your regen is over time. So let's say I got 1,000, 2,000 regen, right? So unless the incoming damage amounts go over my my regen of 2,000, you're pretty much not taking a lot of damage. I think this is going to be really strong. Don't know how I would use it, but I think it's going to be strong. The Vol skills, they just increase the damage of them. I like that. That's a good thing. They've added these new things of Veil, Chaos Orb, and Eye Light Ring. Some Orbs of Binding will drop on a regular basis now. Reward improvements. So they kind of just, they've it looks like they've done some increases to to the things that you're going to be able to get from the lab. That's actually pretty good. This one is going to be an interesting one because you get that if you can get the staff and you get 3 mods, 3 veiled mods. It's such a gamble. It might not be worth it. It's possible this could be really strong. But do you really want to go in there and fight this lady to get this? Because, I mean, if it was almost guaranteed that you're going to get that staff, I would probably go in and do it on a regular basis. Because the problem is it's a veiled mod. Yes, you get 61% increased veil mod capability, but it's random. It's random. I'll go in there, I'll do this fight. I'm doing the fight. It doesn't drop. Okay. Go in there, do it again. How many times am I going to have to do it to get the staff? And then after I get the staff, I unveil it. It's not the right mods. So I got to go back in there and do it again. And then, so if it takes me 10 times to get the staff, I do the staff, I undo the staff. It's crap. I got to do it 10 more times to get the staff, to unveil it and get crap again. Still not worth it. I understand what they're trying to do with this by making it more rewarding to go in and fight old girl in betrayal. Not worth it. Still not worth it. Not in my opinion. It's they're trying, but it's far and few between. Now if that staff drops regularly, if it's one of the lower level items, but because I guarantee that they put that as one of the rare items, and they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna put this in there, and this one's gonna be hard to get. Now if they did that, which is almost a guarantee, it's not worth it. Because you go in there, it's like, okay, yeah, I still didn't get what I wanted out of this staff. Staff's okay, but crappy. Okay, so moving right along. They did modifications to Abyss Jewels and things like that. Okay, so I'll give you if this is the maximum, like a jewel that's maxed out, I can understand what they did with for their percentages. What they should have done was they should have increased that max life. Max life, increase that, make it higher. They didn't touch that. They touched the damage and the damage outputs and stuff like that. That kind of pisses me off. I want the better stuff. But they did add in new jewels like murder side, things like that. They give you some capabilities. They added in an abyss scarab so you can do more abysses. Now I did a ton of abyss runs last league, and I like doing abysses because they just kind of are fun to me. Well, I'm gonna be doing a lot more abysses with this, and I get a chance to get some of these new unique murder side jewels and things. I think this might actually be interesting for me. They did some changes to essences to give essences more capability, more damage and stuff like that, because they weren't living up to the hype. You can do incursions and sell your incursions now, which is going to be great. I'm going to try to max out everything I can on my incursion and put it right on sale. I don't care what's in there. Poop, sell. Reward improvements. So they did the incubators. They did some modifications. They added some more catalysts, which to me, that sucks. That sucks. And the reason why I say that is because I don't get enough of those catalysts already. And now you're going to throw in some new ones? Don't work for me. So they added in +1 to all level to all Vol skill gems to the Exile Splendor. I don't know how to feel about that one. Still a little bit, wondering on that. But all in all, I think that's going to be an okay update. Not a great update, but an okay update. This is where it's going to be. The series rule, the judgment staff. I think that's going to be a really interesting staff. We got to figure out what these what the flames of judgment and the storm of judgment does. But I think this is where it's going to be right here. That staff is going to be interesting. So, with that being said, that's my review of the ultimatum.